7. If you can count from 1 to 7, you can master guitar with this super easy pattern. However, you have to learn one thing that does slightly complicate it, but when you do this, you'll be able to effortlessly play across the neck like all your favorite guitar heroes. So here is how to do it. First thing, as you obviously notice with my big statement, is 7. But we have 6 strings, and this is okay because another thing that there's 7 of is notes in a key or 7 modes in a major key as well, which corresponds to either these 7 different string patterns that we'll refer to as, for obvious reasons, big stretch, middle finger, ring finger. And since there's 7, we have to learn how to consolidate this into a 6-string pattern 7 different times, which is going to be super self-explanatory, but it'll only be like that once you learn the super complicated twist. If we think about how the guitar is tuned, it's all fourths until we get right here. That's a major third to make things easier for playing chords, but a little annoying for this thing. But what's useful is once you learn the simple trick by moving everything up in pitch by 1 fret. In a showing example would be we're going to start from left and play from 1 to part 6. Now I'm going to play it to you correct and incorrectly from 1 to 6 to just show you that it works and how it works like this. See, very dissonant, out of key, but when we factor in this drop zone, we get that perfectly in key sound. And another bonus tip is you can also just play this backwards, and the drop zone would then be, and the drop zone would act the same way to make it correct. Now that reading this pattern makes sense, how do we read it in 6 different ways? The first step would be to understand how it links together. So when we get to like the 3rd or 4th bar, there's actually enough space. So here's how the pattern just repeats horizontally like that. So when you want to read it horizontally and translate it onto a vertical string. And I know your first question is going to be, how do I play it vertically to get up and down the neck? That will be next, but first you have to understand this to build the scales/mode patterns in order to play up and down. And to root back to the number 7, like the number of modes and scale patterns, each of these 7 notes is obvious. Each of these 7 columns is going to correspond to a mode. For obvious one, this is your major scale that you're probably familiar with, and this is going to be your 5th mode. This is going to be your 6th, your minor key, something you should be immediately familiar with. This is your 7, this is your 4, here's your 2, and here's your 3. And remember that they go horizontally like that. And since you find a video like this broken down so easily, now you're going to want to know how to vertically do it like I stated earlier, and that's okay because it's just as easy as expanding horizontally. All you do is you find scale pattern 1, and then connect scale pattern 2, which would start 1, 2, and repeat that either ascending or descending. But the really important thing to remember is these are labeled on the major scale. Major 1st, 2nd degree, 3rd degree, 4th degree, 5th degree, 6th degree, 7th degree is on the major scale. So you have to learn those easy intervals, which I'm sure you already have, but if you haven't, I have a video up on how to count intervals properly. And let's say you're in a minor key, and this is now a major red flag. Quickly for you, there's a super easy way to transcribe it so everything is exactly the same, because major and minor keys are not really different. There are just 2 ways to play the same thing on what you put emphasis on, but that's not important because all you need to know to play the right notes is that the 6 is what people consider to be the 1st degree of a minor scale, and it just connects like this. You'll just start from the 6 is your 1 and just count things out like that. And instead of overcomplicating things and making this your 1, you can just have something that starts on your 6 and count 6, 7, 2, 3, whatever, and make things just super easy for yourself instead of getting really into really technical theory stuff that you can just simplify like this. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to check out my other videos that help you learn rhythm properly, because all of this means absolutely nothing if you can't play in the right time. And of course, if you like guitar content like this, you want to accelerate your growth and learn deeper than everyone else on the internet, subscribe for more.